Shalom. First off, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakadash, Yahweh being true name for the Father, Yahushai being named for his only begotten Son, who the Lord ignorantly calls God, and Jesus Christ. I want to give double honor to our apostles and elders, great millstone, touch the truth and will well. Citations to hopeful elect person this truth. In all honesty and sincerity, this is Brother Yahweh coming to another lesson through the Spirit, power Yahweh Yahushai. This lesson is coming through the Spirit, and give you edification on times to come, and basically some advice on what you can do as far as things that you can find to eat in the wilderness, and some tips for survival, based off of a quick in transit walk and talk I did the other day. So this picture is from a movie called The Book of Eli, which is a very spiritual movie. If you haven't seen it, it's a must-watch. It's based off of a time of after apocalypse, after a thermonuclear war. You have a prophet or a guy that's for Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai that's walking in the truth. He goes throughout the movie, trying to make it to get to a destination to, bring some scriptures so he can get them, printed off and pushed out. But I don't want to spoil the movie too much if you haven't seen it. Most people have, but highly spiritual. But his walk, as he's trying to get to his destination, is a visual representation of what we're about to go through as men in this truth. As we approach closer to the end, and World War III, and these wars, and Michael C. hit the mark of the beast. All these things, we're gonna have to live a truly nomadic pilgrim lifestyle, such as this man. Okay, so without further ado, I'm gonna dive into a couple footages here as things that I took on my walk. All right, I'm gonna start in this precept here. This is Ecclesiastes 38:4. It says, "The Lord Yahweh hath created medicines out of the earth, and he that is wise will not abhor them." Meaning, you will not ignore the medicines that have been created out of the earth. Okay, so there's many things that you're going to find in the wilderness that you can use to heal yourself for healing. Okay, the Lord made those things for us. All right, so the first one I'm going to bring out here is some pictures of one of the first medicinal plants I came across. Okay, this is an app called Picture This Plant Identifier. It's an excellent one to download in order for you to see if it's poisonous or not, weed or not, invasive, and if it's edible. You have to pay for an upgrade, but you can at least scan it and identify the plant for free, and then you can just type in the name of it in Google and then find out what you need to know about it, whether or not you can consume it, etc. But here's the photo I took of it here. Okay, and those are the berries. Now we're going to bring out the information here on Google that goes into it. Alright, so the reason why I did it's the first plant, because this is one that's a common mistake. People see the red berries, they think that that's edible. No, they're very poisonous. You can't eat them. Okay, but it has other uses that you can use as medicine for this plant. Alright, so it's known for being used as a laxative. Okay, headaches, used to treat headaches, anti-inflammatory, upper respiratory infections, used to treat upper respiratory infections, and expectorant, used as an expectorant to help get phlegm out the body. So if you're kind of sick with a cough or cold, or or if you're heavily constipated, you can use this plant for medicine for those reasons. Okay. All right, so basically you make a tea out of that to take care of those issues. If you consume like maybe one berry, it'll be used like as a laxative, help you with your stool. Okay, if you take the leaves or the flowers of the plant and you make a tea, it can help with upper respiratory infections. It says the myrrh honeysuckle contains bioactive compounds including phenolics, chlorogenic acids, and derivatives which may have health-related properties. Okay, so the negative effects include mite and tick populations. All right, so watch out for ticks and stuff like that. Bird predation. Birds that choose a myrrh honeysuckle as their home experience significant greater nest predation, chemical warfare, and mere honeysuckle secretes chemical compounds that are harmful to amphibians and fatally toxic to freshwater insects and crustaceans. Okay, so overall, if you see this is the first identifier. Just know that plants for medicine is not for food. Okay, but if you do use it as medicine, you have to do your research, as far as what type of tea you're going to make with it, and stay away from the berries, unless, of course, you need a laxative. Okay, now I'm no doctor, so this is not medical health information. This is just information based on research. When you come across this plant, because it's extremely common, it's an extremely invasive species, but it does have uses that you can use it for. Okay, here it says laxative, diuretic, and for headaches. Those are the medicinal uses for that plant. Okay. The next one I came across was another very common, especially here in the Midwest, is it was a tree, and you look closer to the tree. These are the berries that are forming on this tree. Okay, so you have this is actually crabapple. Okay, and we can get some information on that as well. Manchurian crab apple. All right, so let's look that up and see what uses that has. Okay, so here's some information on that. All right, it says Manchurian crabapple fruit is edible, but is very tart and best mixed with other fruits or pressed into cider. The fruit is red to yellow and about 1 centimeter in diameter. Okay, from what I also read, you can eat the flesh, but don't eat the seeds. The seeds can have a similar effect of eating like raw beans, which is a toxic compound, so you don't want to avoid the seeds. All right, but you can also crush the fruit into a poultice to heal inflammation of small flesh wounds. So it's got medicinal uses, and it also can be used for food. Okay, and here's some more info, just kind of scrolling through Google for them, and you could do the same thing with plants you identify. Okay, see, this is what they look like, so right there is a source of food. And what you want to do in the wilderness is you want to get, and you're scavenging and you're foraging, you want to get a large collection of various wild weeds and things that you can consume. Before you know it, you'll have a full meal on hands. You don't have to starve to death, man. Okay, so when eating crab apples, eat them in moderation. Like I said, avoid the seeds. And it's best if you find you might find wild grapes or wild blueberries. Maybe mix it with that to avoid some of that bitter taste. Okay, so there you have it. Okay, so here's many things I found on the next thing as well. All right, this is blue or white aster. There's a couple varieties of it. Okay, so you got blue wood aster, as well as you got hairy aster of the same family. There's many uses for this. This has several health benefits, and it's traditionally used in the treatment of weak skin, pain, fevers, and diarrhea. The flowers are edible. Okay, so another source of food. It says blue wood aster is known as I can't even pronounce that. It says has several medicinal uses: laxative, headaches, treat venereal diseases. Okay, it's basically, if you know what that is, it's STDs. Okay, and also uses an incense to attract deer. So there you go. Can be a good plant for a hunting tactic as well. All right, the next thing I wanted to bring out is found on my trail was an Osage orange tree. Okay, and you can see that there on the ground. It has something called Osage orange fruit. Okay, you can see these right here. All right, this is another thing that you can find for use. This is something that can help you in your shelters where you're out, mostly for The fruit itself can be used for pest control. You know, bugs hate the smell of the white sap, and the liquid itself repels bugs. Okay, all you need to do is just cut one open. Okay, and you can place it anywhere in your home on a piece of plastic or a plate. You know, that would catch the decomposing sap that can come out of it, and it helps keep pests away. And the seeds are 100% edible. You can roast them for a little bit of fiber and zinc and nutrients, a little bit of protein. The seeds are edible. Deer eat the seeds, but the actual fruit itself is inedible. But like I said, it's used for great pest control. Now, moving on to the tree. I'm gonna get a little bit closer here. You can see these branches. Okay, this tree was prized by the Gadites. This is the best wood to use for bow making. So, and you need a tool to catch some big game. You can make a bow out of this wood, Osage orange. It's extremely strong and very flexible, and whips back into its original shape when fired. You can see the orange bark here. Okay, so, and it's also excellent firewood too. Trees have a lot of benefits to them. You know, you never know what you may come across in the wilderness. Okay. All right, next what we have is cedar tree. Okay. These right here on the screen, these are called juniper berries, produced by the eastern cedar tree, red cedars. Okay, you can see the tree growing there, how tall it is. Okay, juniper berries are loaded with vitamin C, and the cedar needles themselves, boiled or just lightly boiled that into a tea. That tea has massive amount of vitamin C and zinc, which can help you with your common colds. And I personally have taken this as tea. You know, and it helps with your cough, get rid of your cough, and give you the nutrients you need to fight off virus. It has antiviral properties. So very, very prized for medicinal uses, which we can get. Okay, it says eastern red cedar is a tree. The wood, berries, and leaves are used for medicine. People take eastern red cedar for cough, bronchitis, joint pain, rheumatism, water retention, and flatulence. They also take it to improve appetite and digestion, and treatment for fungal infection and worms. There you go. Now, the inner bark of the cedar, you have an inner layer called cambium. When you peel the bark and you continue to peel it, you're going to get to a very pale or white layer that's it's very soft and fragile, and you can peel that and eat that as basically like pasta and boil it to soften it up. And you can even dry it and grind it into powder. And cambium can be harvested from many different trees, and ground into powder. You can make it into flour and make bread. Another medicinal and food benefits. Okay, and they basically taste like spearmint gum. They're very good. You know, of course, you don't want to eat too many of them. Too much of anything can be bad for you. But if you're sick, grab you some cedar leaves, man, some cedar needles, and make you some tea. Now, make sure you do your work and your research to properly identify, you know, the right juniper berry that you're consuming. Make sure it is from a cedar tree, and make sure it's not something that's coming from a poisonous shrubbery or bush, because you have certain bushes and shrubs that have berries that look identical to that, but they're toxic. So make sure it's coming from a tree, you know, and make sure you're not trying to make tea out of a toxic pine, because there's some pines that can be bad for you too. Okay. Okay. Next up on the list, we have black walnut. That's a black walnut right there, where I've actually taken it out of its husk. This is basically what it looks like right here before you take it out. of the flesh itself. Now, black walnut, you're going to be able to identify this by, there are going to be a lot of them underneath a black walnut tree. You'll see these on the floor. Some of you might see these in your driveway if you're, located in areas where black walnuts grow. You may have a fruiting black walnut tree, about the size of a golf ball. They may be a little bit bigger, and they fall. They're heavy. You have some weight to them, and they smell amazing. They smell very, very good, man. They have a very strong citrusy smell to them. But they turn brown, and when they start turning brown, they do stain, which it's also used as hair dye. Some of the natives, if they didn't want to have gray hairs, they would dye their hair with this stuff, in the water. So if you're touching this, be cautious because it will stain your fingers. And I learned that the hard way when I first learned about these a few years ago. Harvested a ton of them, got as many black walnuts as I could. And what happened is my fingers were black for about 3 weeks. Okay, no joke. All right, but these are the leaves that it looks like. Okay, they have direct leaves that are exact same shape, and they're completely parallel side by side. They grow like this. If you want to get into cracking the shell of the black walnut, you're going to need extremely heavy, sturdy rocks to smash them open. But you can of course, get the nut, and nuts, as you may know, are, they have a lot of protein and a lot of vitamins and nutrients, and can be a good energy boost. So that's another great food source. Black walnut tea or black walnut extract is used as one of the best anti-parasites to take. Black walnut extract, man. You can take this and it will rid your body of parasites. All of them. And that's what another big use that the natives and the Gadites they use this tree for. Okay, so you may find this in the wilderness. Food, anti-parasitic, and also medicinal uses too. Black walnuts. Okay, very prized. So these are a few things that I found while just on my hike, locally, about 5 minutes from my house, and just in a park, man. It's off of wooded trail. And then I have last but not least, I have a couple other things I want to show you as well. Some more black walnuts that I was able to collect. This right here. All right, this guy. And I actually learned along the way of harvesting this. This is a mushroom. And you see how huge it is. It's the size of a freaking soccer ball. And at first I thought it was a ball, but I was confused because there was multiple large soccer ball sized objects in the ground. It was pure white in the grass. So I went to go investigate. Like, oh, if it's a ball, I might be able to pick that up for my kids or something. And look at it, wait a minute, it's not a ball. And I can notice the aroma from it. I can recognize immediately is the smell of fungi, mushrooms. This is called a giant puffball mushroom. Now, warning, you need to properly identify mushrooms before you eat them. Be very cautious because you have deadly toxic mushrooms that can be all white like this, and you can end up accidentally killing yourself. Straight up. Okay? But I took the time to properly identify these, did my due research, study the characteristics and the feel, the smell, the size, and I was able to identify this as the giant puffball mushroom. Okay. Now I have a little bit of info about these, but you can see the size of it here. And there was multiple, and I cut it open, and you see how white that is? That's a key indicator that they're still good to eat. When they turn brown, they're rotten. Okay, you get sick. But the white ones, they're good. And the taste, it tastes just like giant egg white. Basically, the best way I could describe it. Giant egg white with a hint of mushroom flavor, white mushroom flavor, like you would buy at a grocery store or put on your pizza. A hint of the mushroom flavor, but, consistency, texture, taste, feel, just a giant egg. like a giant egg white is the best way I can just describe it. Okay. Okay, so here's some info about them here. Common puffball or giant puffball. There's various puffballs. Okay. I'm not going to try to pronounce that scientific name of it. But let's get some more info about it. It says the puffball grows in fields, gardens, along roadsides, as well as grassy clearings and woods. It is edible when young, and the internal flesh is completely white, although care must be taken to avoid confusion with immature fruit bodies of poisonous Amanita species. Can usually be distinguished from other similar puffballs by differences in surface texture. Okay, let's see here. Edibility. Okay, it says considered to be a good edible mushroom when young. They have been referred to as poor man's sweetbread due to their texture and flavor. It is texture of bread. Okay. It says the fruit bodies can be eaten after slicing and frying in batter or egg and breadcrumbs, or used in soups as a substitute for dumplings. As early as 1861, Elias Fries recommended them dried and served with salt, pepper, and oil. The puffballs come inedible as they mature, become yellow tinged, and finally develops a mass of powdery olive green spores. So that's when it's inedible. Okay, it says nutritional analysis indicates that the puffballs are a good source of protein, carbohydrates, fats, and several micronutrients. Okay, so, hey, man. And you see how big they were when I found them, and there was multiple. Like, I think there was probably about 5. Just for what I seen initially. But if I would have looked further, I probably would have found a couple more. And they're all growing along the same tree line, right before you enter into the rough patch or deep into the woods. They were growing. Okay, so hey, properly identify them, of course, but like I said, I took the time to really research before I took it home to eat it. I took some, time to study. And that's what it's all about, man. You take the time to get out to the wilderness and study and find things out. And, you'll be surprised how the Lord is going to provide certain ways of feeding you in times of need. I mean, imagine just coming across this big, gigantic ball of carbs and protein, man. You see look how big this thing is, man. The one I had was big as a soccer ball, but look, hey, that's the size of a beach ball, the one she's got. And so people just grow them and sell them as food. And I was able to slice it up as big steaks. Now, I'm not crazy about mushrooms, so, I didn't eat a whole lot. I'm going to freeze it up and save them for a nice recipe another day. But, hey, I was able to harvest 2 extremely large ones to take home and, practice learning how to eat from the woods, the wilderness, man. Okay. Now it says spores can cause digestive upsets. They're safe to eat in amounts, but inhaling the spores can cause breathing problems like pneumonia-like symptoms. So if it's shooting up powder and spores, don't fucking lean over and inhale that stuff, all right? You can get sick. Okay? Let's get some scriptures out. This is the book of John 6:31. It says, our fathers did eat manna in the desert. As it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. Then Yahushua said unto them, verily, verily, I say unto you, Moses gave you not that bread from heaven, but my Father giveth you true bread from heaven. For the bread of Yahweh is he which cometh down from heaven and giveth life unto the world. It says, then said they unto him, Yahweh, evermore give us this bread. And Yahushua said Yahushua evermore give us this bread. And Yahushua said unto them, I am the bread of life. He that cometh to me shall never hunger, and he that believeth on me shall never thirst. All right, so once you believe in Yahweh Bashem Yahushua, you're going to be well fed and taken care of, okay? And he will feed you with knowledge, spiritually, feed your spirit, give you salvation, and physically will make sure he take care of you. Okay? Just like his father took care of us in the wilderness. He rained down manna from heaven. Today we don't know what that manna looked like or what it was, but he gave us food. That's all we need to know. So the Lord can provide for you and make a way out of no way. Because I stumbled across that stuff that I didn't even know was edible, man. And it was by all through the Spirit, because I was supposed to be attending a training session, but ended up not working out where I couldn't go. So I ended up just turning it into a time to get some exercise and just go hiking and walk. And, as I was looking for collecting black walnuts, I stumbled across those. And then it became edification. And that reminded me, hey, the Lord going to take care of us in the days to come. We're going to be fed. We don't have nothing to worry about. Okay? Another account, the Lord taking care of us, feeding us, man. 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 1, it says, And Elijah the Tishbite, who was of the inhabitants of Gilead, said unto Ahab, As Yahweh, God of Israel, liveth, before whom I stand, there shall not be dew nor rain these years, but according to my word. And the word of Yahweh came unto him, saying, Get thee hence, and turn thee eastward, and hide thyself by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. So you never know when the Lord might tell you to go move to another place. And you got to be ready to go. And he told him to go into the wilderness, man. And it says, verse 4, And it shall be that thou shalt drink of the brook, and I have commanded the ravens to feed thee there. So he went and did according to the word of Yahweh, for he went and dwelt by the brook Cherith that is before Jordan. And the ravens brought him bread and flesh in the morning, and bread and flesh in the evening, and he drank of the brook. So he had breakfast and dinner, man. Can you imagine wild ravens or birds, similar to what you would call crows? Just when you go into the wilderness and you're escaping, running for your life, and you find a little stream for some water, and you're sitting there, all of a sudden these birds come bringing you loaves of bread and meat, man, and fresh fish, or steak, or venison that the Lord commanded them to do. That's a miracle. And you have to trust and have faith that the Lord is going to do that for us too, man. So I did that walk and talk lesson, going into leave and taking nothing with you. Can you do it? You got to have enough faith to be able to roll, man, when that time comes, and not worry about anything. Okay? This is Ezekiel 34 and 25. It says, And I will make with them a covenant of peace, and will cause the evil beasts to cease out of the land, and they shall dwell safely in the wilderness and sleep in the woods. Right, man? So the Lord done that before in history, and he's going to do it again. In times of Jacob's trouble, and for some brothers, he's going to send angels to give us warning, and it's time to go. It's time to go. Okay? We're going to be all right and dwell safely in the woods. Okay? This is Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith Yahweh, Behold, my servant shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servant shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servant shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. So as long as you're a servant of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, you're following law, statute, commandments. You're serving the Lord, man. You're doing His work at the highways and hedges. You're supporting the ministry. You're calling upon the name of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You're taking heed to the warnings. You're studying to show thyself approved. Okay? Then you're doing the work. Women, are being listening and obedient to your husbands and submitting and serving Him? Okay, then you're doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. You aged women, you may not have husbands. Are you supporting the ministry? Are you supporting the younger women, teaching them on how to be wives to those men at the highways and hedges? Are you helping them brothers? You might need to be a mother figure and step into brothers that may not have their mothers doing what they're supposed to do, helping them out. Okay, then you're doing the work of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. These are things that we're supposed to be doing, man. And if you're a servant, you're going to be okay. You may not have a lick of survival knowledge, but the Lord can set it up, man. To what are these Edomites? They don't make it to their doomsday bunker, but guess who will? You. quote unquote bunch of coincidental situations can happen. You stumble across the keys, the map to get there, or it just may be open for you. And you get in there, and it's a plethora of stored food for you, man, and television and some strong drink too. You know what I mean? That's coming for brothers and sisters, man. The true servants. We don't got to worry about nothing. We're going to be straight, man. You know, coming across that stuff, that's all through the spirit, man. Coming across food like that and doing that to a lesson to edify you. There's stuff out there, man. Even in your backyard. You got dandelions. Don't you know that's food? Look up broadleaf and narrowleaf plantain. That's growing in your backyard too. That's food. Clover. You ever see them clovers, man? Like the ones they show on St. Patrick's Day all the time. Don't you know that's edible? Hey, certain clovers you can eat fresh. And it tastes like grapes. Like green grapes. Wow, man. It's crazy. It's food, man. You got inner tree bark. Cambium. Food. Oh, and let's not get into the insects. You know you can eat grasshoppers? You can eat crickets? That's lawful, man. Beetles. You eat beetle larvae. That's still a beetle. Those grubs. Hey, that's food. There's going to be food out there. You just have to take the time to open, your ears to this wisdom and knowledge so you can be okay in that day. 2nd Address 16:40. O my people, hear my word. Make you ready to thy battle. And in those evils, be as pilgrims upon the earth. So you got to be as travelers, man. Nomads moving in the days of evil to come. We got massive hurricanes hitting. People are going to be displaced from their homes. And they're already experiencing apocalyptic scenarios down there with people that have been hit. They're surviving. Pretty soon, it's going to be the majority of all America going to be going through all that stuff, man. Everybody's going to have, complete wreckage to be looking at soon. Abandoned houses and looters and marauders. People, dead bodies rotting and smelling in the air. Losing people that you care about. Make you ready to your own battle, man. You got to be ready to become pilgrims on the earth. Be able to move. Be able to start a fire, These things are important to know. Matthew 24:15. When ye therefore shall see the abomination and desolation spoken of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoso readeth, let him understand. Let them which be in Judea flee into the mountains. Let him which is on the housetop not come down to take anything out of his house. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days. Right? So it's time to go. It's time to go. He said, you don't take nothing with you. You got to roll. So you might not be able to grab that bug out bag, that survival pack, that suitcase, that stash of rice and water and beans. You might not get it. You got to ride on faith, man. The Lord tells you don't take nothing with you, and you better take heed to that. It's time to go. Time to go. You waste any more time, you're gonna get hemmed up, thrown in the FEMA camp, and killed, and get your loved one snatched up. And it says, "And woe to them that are with child, to them that get sucked in those days." Woe means destruction. So destruction unto you is very bad for you, to high disadvantage to you if you're one that has a baby in those days. So don't be seeking to pop out no babies right now, man. That's not fair for them. They can't control the horrors that they're about to be going through. So you don't want to bring a child into this world. Okay? And you better have the faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushai even stronger if you do currently have children young of age. Because destruction is coming. Then there will be a lot of sightings of things that you don't want to see. People can't stomach or don't want to accept is seeing children pass. And there's going to be a lot of children that are going to be gone in that day, and you will see in the streets and terrible things happening to them. Some of them, people are going to even turn to cannibalism and do that to their children, man. These are the horrors that's coming. says, but pray ye that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, right? You don't want to have to bust a move in the winter, man, when it's brick negative such and such degrees outside. And it's hard to come across, wood and start fires, and you already got to scavenge for food. Everything's dead. Most of the wild edibles are gone for the winter, so you only can rely on hunting and getting protein for the most part. So you don't want to have your flight to be in the winter. So pray that it don't happen to you on that day. But if it does, so be it. The Lord still can provide for you, even in the winter. If you're a servant, you don't gotta worry about it. Verse 21 says, for then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be. So the worst tribulation, like when horrors happen in the earth, we read about in the scriptures, the time that we about to be going through is worse than any other account in the whole Bible. Think about that. Which is why you need divine intervention. You need the Lord, man. You need protection from him, so you have to be in good standing with him. If you ain't been doing right and you don't get that good standing, there's just no way you're going to make it. There's just no way. This is Genesis 1:29. It says, and Yahweh said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Right, man. So he gives us food, man. He gives us seed for herbs, for healing, for meat. He already gave it to us, man. Learn about these things. Genesis 25:27, it says, and the boys grew, and Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. So that word plain there goes into more versatile and smart. Y'all are Israelites of Jacob. We dwell in tents. We've lived out there in roughing it, in villages and in the elements and tents. And Esau was a hunter of the field. So Esau's already naturally, doing a lot of stuff like that and knowing the information I brought out to you. But Jacob, y'all supposed to take the information and actually perfect it, because you're the plain man. We're the tent builders. We dwelt in big lavish tents. But hey, we know how to make fires and survive too. It's in you to do it. You just got to do it. And that's why we have high holy days such as the Feast of Tabernacles. It's to humble you down and put you back into where you came from. So, Lord's will, this lesson's edifying. It's been a while since I've done a sit down kind of like that. So, Lord's will, it kind of gives a lot of people insight and help and you can find it for use in time to come. With that, I'm going to close out. Give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh. Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honors to our apostles and elders, great millstone, touch the truth and will well. And salutations to you, hopefully, pushing this truth in all sincerity. Shalom.